Let's return to This Week in America. Here's your host, Rick Bratton.
Welcome back, everybody, coast to coast, This Week in America. Life's Apologies for Our Nation by Carolann Murray is a book about current views of issues that challenge our nation, intended to provide transparency on political issues that one may not be aware of, and the commitment, honor, and patriotism that we should have for America. Life's Apologies for Our Nation is a book of short stories that allows readers to encounter a variety of subject matters. The message that Life's Apologies for Our Nation delivers is relevant to the people of this nation who dream of living the American dream in a free society. Carolann Murray is retired from the U.S. Army, founder and owner of Life's Apologies, Inc. Carolann, a Florida native, and her creative writing is a personal passion that she enjoys. Writing enables Carolann to boldly convey and bring to life transparency to situations in everyday personal lives and our nation. Carolann Murray, author of Life's Apologies for Our Nation, is our guest on This Week in America. Hi, Carolann. Welcome to the program. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, and I'm glad to be here.
What a wonderful job with this book, and we'll talk about it in detail during the course of the program. Book available at Amazon, all the usual places. We'll give you that information. I did just a very brief biography there. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where this interest came from, expressing yourself with the creative writing that you do so well.
Well, I'll say that I've been writing, or I love to write, ever since I was a little kid, around about 7 years old. I used to write short stories, and but as I got older, I could do a better job. So I've been writing for a long time, and at first it's a hobby, but it's something that I love to do because I like to express myself. It's a way of expressing myself, and not only that, sometimes I like to say things that other people may not want to say or be able to say. So that's who I am.
Well, in the book makes us think. The book is Life's Apologies for Our Nation by Carolann Murray, our guest on the program. Give you all the information where it's available as we go through. Is this the only book you've published, or have you had other books published as well?
Well, I started off, I have Life's Apologies and Life's Apologies for All People. And they're easy read short stories and about people forgiving each other and apologizing to each other, because it's not nice. It's not a good thing to go through life holding grudges against people, other people, the very person that you hold a grudge against, that's the one that's moved on with their life and you still stuck back in the past,
Yes.
Holding a grudge.
That's so true. And you think, as I'm reading that, I'm thinking, boy, that's the case. I'm upset still with some people, and I'm sure they don't even know I exist anymore. So I'm the one that's carrying this burden around, and they're going about their lives free of that. The book is Life's Apologies for Our Nation. Carolann Murray, the author and our guest on the program. What inspired you to write this particular book, Life's Apologies for Our Nation? You touch on some really important topics here. What was the motivation, the inspiration for writing this?
The motivation, it's like I would listen to the news, different various programs, and listen to other people, and I just feel so hurt behind what America has to go through, and people not being honest, people saying fake news, and I just wanted to put my own opinionated views out there. And I think those who want to tear America down, I feel that they should just go somewhere where they can be happy, because this is America. And why should we tear America down with all this fake news? And I just don't get it. And so I felt so relieved to be able to put my words and my feelings on paper.
In reading reviews, I think the readers feel that way. Here's somebody that's expressing what they think, what they would like to say, but they really don't do it. They don't have a platform, first of all, and you have a platform, and that's the advantage of someone who's involved in creative writing, as Carolann is. She has the ability that she can express herself, and the book is so well done and receiving excellent, because it sort of puts the brakes on where we're headed. and let's just think about who we are as a country, and who we are together. We're all in this together. Who is the main audience for Life's Apologies for Our Nation? Who's the book directed for?
I think the main audience is anyone that has an interest in reading, anyone that loves America, and anyone that wants to listen to what I have to say, particularly politicians. And then it's written like me. I'm not a politician. I am with the common people, how you would say, at the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. We have feelings too. Someone should hear us out and listen to us. Instead, politicians are doing what they do, and they get up behind the podium and they talk a good game. I'm talking whether you be Republican, Democrat, or Independent, it doesn't matter. And they say their speech, and then, but what about us? What about other people who doesn't have a platform, as you mentioned earlier? We should have a voice, and we also have feelings.
I want to talk about several of the chapters that in the book, Life's Apologies for Our Nation. Carolann Murray, our guest. If you're Googling, Carolann is one word, Carolann, Carolann Murray, Murray. Book available at Amazon, the usual places. Go to our website. You can link on directly to the Amazon page for Carolann, get information, order the book there as well. Why did you dedicate a chapter in the book on women in government?
Oh, wow. A lot of women in government, not only the ones that I mentioned, but also other women that I did not mention. I think they're extraordinary, and they had to fight to get where they are now. And I myself have a lot in common with, for instance, Val Demings, Kamala Harris. They're Floridians. I know what it feels like to be bused across wherever to go to another school. Okay, and Elizabeth Warren, I know when I left home, I didn't have any money at all either, but I had to do what I had to do. So these women, they fought. It's a long road. They traveled, and the other one, I forget her name, the amputee that's in Congress. Well, we have a lot in common too, because we're both veterans. And I just really love them. Fiona Hill, she's mentioned in that chapter as well as quite a few other ones that I have not mentioned. And I really love what they're doing and what they have done in the past, because it wasn't easy.
And for many of them, it still isn't easy, is it? Once they get there and try to do something, especially if they try to do something, it seems like there are roadblocks that are thrown up. Kamala Harris becomes vice president, and 2 days later, they're out attacking her before she's had a chance to do anything. So it's really not, you sort of got to climb the mountain and then be able to effectively work from there, don't you?
Exactly. That is so true. And you have to have the not only confidence, but the motivation, and you have to have the go-getter attitude, and you cannot ever give up. Don't give up on anything. If you believe in yourself and you believe in God, you can make it. And they made it, and they're still making it.
That's one of the chapters, Women in Government, in the book by Carolann Murray, our guest on the program, Life's Apologies for Our Nation. Another one is Sacred Vote. And boy, that's something that's really in the news literally on a daily basis. What inspired you to write about Sacred Vote?
Well, because like you said, it's in the news right now, and nobody, wants to budge. Well, the two Democratic personnel don't want to budge on allowing us to be able to vote and to be treated fair. But what inspired me the most is Congressman John L. Roberts. I think he died, and I just, and it hurt me so much. And at the time, I felt like I wanted to express myself about the sacred vote and what it means to us, and how hard he fought, and for how long Congressman Lewis fought. And so it was all in my heart that was pouring out to that, and it makes me feel bad even to this day, even to now. Why? Why is it so difficult for us to get this bill approved? The two Democrats that are stopping it, maybe they're really Republicans.
You know, it's interesting because when you see the what John Lewis went through, and you see the story, and literally beaten to get to this point of representing, being in Congress, representing his constituents in Congress, and trying to get the sacred vote, and the vote is sacred, and there's a lot we need to think through as a country, so voting is accessible for not just people that think like us, but people from both sides that want to partake in the U.S. government. What are some of the other issues near and dear to you that you address in Life's Apologies for Our Nation, or would like to address it at some point?
The way we have, police brutality in the prison system. It's like a whole different society, a whole different world. We got people in prison that shouldn't be there. And you got us outside of prison. Maybe we are the ones that are imprisoned. The thing is, and then when they come out to join in society, they're really, after 20 years or what have you, what's left? And especially when you see, not every day, you see those that have been locked up falsely. And the people who owns the prison system are the ones that getting richer every day. It's almost like a cattle, or like counting slaves, how much a head is worth. And it just need to be revamped, redone. And it's not just, and when I say I'm upset about the prison system, it's not just Black people, it's people of all races, all colors. Some, even white people, are in prison, unjustifiably, maybe, but more so the Blacks and brown people. So I don't like the prison system, and the way it's going, and I don't like the fact that we have to fight just to get justice. Reference when a police shoots someone in the back or shoot someone and say, "Oh, my life was threatened."
You bring up so many issues that we really, as a country, need to think through. And if people, you mentioned prisons, when people start looking at that and see the commissary, the overcharging in the commissaries in the prison, and the money that's made off of that, the phone calls, someone trying to make a phone call back, and suddenly they're paying $15, $20 a minute to make a phone call because it's regulated and turns into a moneymaker. Just one of the issues raised by Carolann Murray, our guest on the program, the book's Life's Apologies for Our Nation. Do you believe a difference can be made in the issues that you raise, that you're talking about?
I believe over time a difference can be made, but at the same time, just like think about the voting right. We're still fighting to vote. The more we fight, it seems like we're just going in reverse. So maybe the right people in office, maybe time will bring on a change.
Well, it comes about, I guess, by people like you who are out there speaking and putting information out there and getting us all, like I said, to slow down a little bit, look at these issues, go behind the scenes and think these through. And you do that so well in Life's Apologies for Our Nation. It sounds like there's some anger maybe delivered for the previous administration. Talk about that and why.
Yes, I am angry to some degree, because when you have a person and the old administration that feels that he is above the law, that is unacceptable. We have people that have committed far less crimes than he has, and yet he doesn't have to pay. All he does is use his money to delay, and not really his money, but the Republicans' money, to delay. And really, we need to be treated fair. fair. And I'm not angry, but then I have enough common sense to know that the system has to work, and eventually it will.
I mentioned in the beginning the American dream and how important that is to preserve that, and maybe how tenuous it is now. What are your thoughts on that? Is it still possible to attain the American dream? Is that hope still alive? That dream still alive?
I believe the dream will always be alive and it will remain alive. What has to happen is people have to come together. People of color, Black and brown people, has to make sure that they come together and they, vote. No matter what blocks put obstacles that are in the way, the people, we just need to do what we have to do to vote. And if that's the people vote and to get the right person in office so that you know things won't fall apart in America. I think the dream will stay. It'll remain, America. People still come here because of the American dream, and it'll always be that way. I even tell people, if you hate America so much and you don't want to be here and you don't like it or whatever, because of go to another country, go somewhere else. If you don't like America, don't talk bad about America in front of me. Because I will tell you, if you don't like America, it's not doing much for you or whatever, you don't like the people, then go somewhere else where to another country or somewhere that you like it. But don't try to get over on America or the people.
Seems like a fairly simple solution, doesn't it? If you don't like it and you don't like it that much, then it's a two-way proposition. You can leave as well as come in. Are you planning any revisions for Life's Apologies for Our Nation? And I say that because things almost change on a day-to-day basis here, things going on in the country. Will you do revisions on this along the way?
I would like to. I think I will. I'm almost certain that I will. Because when I wrote this book, things was, like you say, constantly changing. I could hardly keep up with it. And then, so if I do a revision, at least I can bring the book, up to date.
I think if I understand correctly from a previous conversation, an audio book will be available. So you've got a copy of the book, and maybe you want to listen to it as you're going and coming to work each day. An audio book that will be available soon, I understand.
Yes, the audio book will be available in mid-February. If not the end, but more so the mid-February. That's good. So
you can check that. And Life's Apologies for Our Nation is the book. Carolann Murray. Got a couple minutes left in the program. Tell me about the response you're getting with this book. You sort of challenge people to take an objective look at where we are as a country. What kind of response are you getting? The reviews I read are very, very positive.
Really? I'm like, one thing I didn't say about myself, I'm very shy, somewhat shy, and I haven't really read any reviews yet, but I think the book would do good. People will like it. People would like the book.
It will get them thinking, and you touch on so many things in there, and we might as well talk about something as we wrap up here that you'd mentioned before, forgiveness, and how important that is. And you've talked about that in several of the books. Talk about, again, the forgiveness and how it really, that sort of goes to the core of us as individuals, doesn't it?
Right, it does. Because say, for instance, if you are a couple, you're married, and your spouse or your partner, what have you, has done something to offend you, but yet you guys belong together, why not forgive each other and do what is right? Sometimes when a married couple split up, what happens is that it's not just them that has to be considered. They have to look at their kids, the family, because when you split up, then guess what? Then it's also with the kids. The kids have to go visit mom over here, go visit dad over there, whomever, and it's not a good thing. And to forgive each other, meaning not necessarily splitting up, but coming together, talking about the situation, regardless of the situation. And when you talk about the situation, come to grips, come together, and and make sure, put God in it, pray about it. And don't just run to the, up the hills or what have you, just because
Yes.
someone did something wrong, because no one is perfect.
That common sense wisdom that Carolann was just talking about, that rational thinking, is what you'll read in her book, Life's Apologies for Our Nation. The book is available at Amazon, all the usual places. I say Amazon because we think of Amazon first, but it's other places wherever you buy books as well. Soon to be an audiobook, and Carolann Murray is the author of Life's Apologies for Our Nation. Carolann is one word, Carolann, and Murray, Murray. And of course, we'll have all this on our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Carolann, a pleasure having you on the program. Are you working on another book at the current time?
Yes, I'm working on do a script, because it's this book about the name of the title of the story in one of my other books, and it's like my best one. It's a success, a foster success. In other words, and it's like someone that was in the foster care system, and he ended up being a lawyer, and somehow through grace he ended up representing his mother, and they didn't know that they were biological, because the mother and the father were around 16 and 17 years old when they gave him up for adoption. So
that's a great story. Looking forward to having that out, and hopefully we can talk about that as well. So many things that you've done, continue to do, and will do to make this a better place. Carolann Murray is our guest. The book is Life's Apologies for Our Nation. Carolann, a pleasure having you on the program. Congratulations on what you've done so far, and it sounds like more exciting things happening in the future for you. Thank you for being with us.
And thank you, too, for having me.
It has been our pleasure. Carolann Murray. The book is Life's Apologies for Our Nation. Information on our website, thisweekinamerica.us. We're back on today's program after these messages.
This Week in America is online. You can visit our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Scott Pinkerton, Associate Producer of This Week in America. Jay Anderson, Segment Producer. Ben Watson, Webmaster. Otto Bechet, Director of Engineering and TV Production. This Week in America produced and is a trademark of Blue Funk Broadcasting, LLC. For information on all of our guests and to listen to this week's show, our website again at thisweekinamerica.us. And I'm Sean Bratton, Executive Producer of This Week in America.